President-elect Donald Trump has announced nearly all of his choices for his cabinet.
But several of his nominations are coming under harsh criticism. WGN's Sean Lewis has a breakdown.
President-elect Trump makes a flurry of picks.
Another Sunday and more opinions on some of Donald Trump's picks to serve in his cabinet, including Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense.
Incredible opportunity that I cannot take lightly.
Despite his background as a veteran, he came under fire after sexual misconduct allegations from 2017 in his civilian life came to light. A woman telling police in California that Hegseth blocked her from leaving a hotel room and then assaulted her. Hegseth has admitted to paying the woman a settlement, but not to wrongdoing.
The matter was fully investigated, and I was completely cleared.
Hegseth has met with some senators about his nomination so far.
That's all we senators are saying is, let us do our job. Send these people to us. We will ask the questions. She will have a hearing, and then we will vote.
Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth has called Hegseth wholly unqualified to lead the Pentagon.
It's frankly an insult and really troubling that Mr. Trump would nominate someone who has admitted that he's paid off a victim who has claimed rape allegations against him. This is not the kind of person you want to lead the Department of Defense.
Duckworth, who is a Purple Heart combat veteran, also questioned his stance on women's role in the military.
I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated.
He's wrong. Our military could not go to war without the women who wear this uniform. And frankly, America's daughters are just as capable of defending liberty and freedom as her sons.
Pete is qualified to be the SecDef.
Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen rushed to Hegseth's defense.
Pete has his opinions. You have your opinion, I have my opinion. But who ultimately makes that decision is President Trump. And President Trump respects every person serving in the military, regardless of male or female.
One of those who has served is former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, Trump's pick to lead national intelligence. Critics say her questioning of U.S. intelligence in the past, meeting with Syrian elected dictator Bashar al-Assad, and repeating Russian propaganda should be disqualifying.
You and Tulsi Gabbard are both veterans. You served with her in the House. What do you think of her?
Well, I think she's compromised. I think by going to Syria and basically backing a brutal dictator there, I mean, Russian-controlled media called her a Russian asset. So I do think that we have a real deep concern.
Tammy is absolutely dead wrong on this. It's the most dangerous thing she could say is that a United States lieutenant colonel in the United States Army is compromised and is an asset of Russia. If she was compromised, if she wasn't able to pass a background check, if she wasn't able to do her job, she still wouldn't be in the Army. What she did as a member of Congress was not out of line for her to do that.
Despite the words, Duckworth says she'll look at each nominee with an open mind.
I'm going to evaluate each one of these candidates based on their ability to do the job and their willingness to put the needs of the American people first.
Sean Lewis, WGN News.